Hey guys, it's Tinker Tailor here today, bringing you another Pokemon Build series video. Today we have Cubone, who is a ground type Pokemon. And this Pokemon kind of looks to me like the body sort of looks like Charmander, I guess. I don't know. It's like a little orange. It's more like tan orange, I guess, like a creamy orange color. I don't know if I'm describing it right. But then it's got a cream colored belly. And yeah, it's sort of like I don't know, like a mix between Kangaroo and Charmander. That's the vibes it's giving me. But it actually wears a skull on its head, and if you know anything about Cubone, it's the skull of its mother, which is so super sad. And it's carrying a bone in one of its claws, and it's described as a lonely Pokemon, and that makes me kind of really sad. Like this poor little Pokemon all by himself. But yeah, I don't know. I guess looking at it because of what I know about it and whatnot, I kind of imagine it would show up at funerals or cemeteries or graveyards. Which, by the way, a graveyard is a cemetery but with a church attached. A cemetery does not have a church specifically attached, so it can have like a place to honor your dead. Yes, it can have I guess the word is chapel, but like a room where you can hold services and things like that. But specifically one that isn't a church makes it a cemetery. But if it is specifically a church, it is a graveyard. And I don't know. I learned that like a month or two ago, which is quite interesting. Very very interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's kind of really sad that it's wearing the skull of its mother, like that makes me really kind of upset. But I do kind of imagine it at some sort of cemetery or graveyard or things such as. So I guess I kind of saw it here, and I ended up writing down a cathedral. I said a cathedral and a graveyard, which I think if it's a cathedral, it's still technically a graveyard because it's like a church. It's just not a church. It's a cathedral instead, which is, I guess, a kind of church. I'm not super religious or anything, so I don't know. The difference between a church and a cathedral. But yeah, basically this is a... Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say this is a place of worship, because the way I've set it up, it's kind of designed for events. So maybe it was once a place of worship, but now is a place where you hold events. So I set up, there's two rooms here when you come in the entrance, left and right, the two sections of the cathedral. And it's a church, a wedding on one side and a funeral on the other, which I know is kind of like, would you have a wedding at a place that's also a graveyard area? But also, like, a lot of people do get married in religious places such as churches, and churches also do have graveyards with them. Like, that's not anything unusual. So I didn't think it was too unusual. Like, I guess it kind of makes sense that maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. But yeah, I did have a lot of fun with it. For this build in particular, I looked up cathedrals all over the world, and one of the ones I really, really liked was, I'm gonna say it wrong, Notre Dame. I'm probably saying that wrong, so please, if you know how to say it properly, let me know down in the comments below, because I want to say it properly, but I didn't think I was going to be speaking about it, and I was meant to look it up the other day to make sure I was saying it right, and I got sidetracked because... I say the other day, it was yesterday, because I was going to spend some time with my mum. So I didn't really think about looking it up. But another one I found was in Sydney. So I kind of took some loose inspiration, I think, from that one. I don't know if it was that one, because I got them from all over the world. I think I found one in, like, Brazil or something. They're all really, really pretty and really cool, but I was like, how do I translate these things into The Sims? and be able to build it. You know, I don't want to copy word for word what it's like. I have no idea what the inside of any of these cathedrals look like, but yeah, I don't know, I just kind of looked up cathedrals all over the world and kind of, from the outside took inspiration, but from the inside kind of just did whatever I wanted, really. Mainly because, yeah, I wasn't really sure what else to do. But yeah, in the end, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I don't normally build stuff like this, but it's that's what I love about this series, is it's just something so random and different every time, and I honestly have no clue what I'm ever going to be building until I build it, and it's as simple as that. And yeah, I don't know. I definitely recommend, if you guys are looking for fun new ideas, just wander outside and look at, I mean, if you live in a rural area, it might be a little difficult, but if you live in maybe like a city or something, or even like a suburb or a town, just go around and have a look at the different buildings that are around. Every time I go on holidays, I definitely do that. I definitely have a look at all of the different buildings that are out and about and take photos of them and things like that. I haven't necessarily built any of them. You know, I haven't necessarily, put any of these builds into my world, but yeah, I've definitely taken lots of. If you go through my phone, 90% of the photos are cats, but then the other, I'd say 8% of them are photos of buildings, and then like the last 2% are just like living life. You know, like here's a photo of me and my mom. Here's a photo of this. Here's a photo of that, and it's just, you know, whatever. Like I don't need a million photos of my life. I don't know. I do understand people taking photos of things for the memories and like just being able to look back and experience those things. Absolutely get it. Absolutely support it. And when I'm at events, people do take photos. I'm just not the one to take photos because I like to just be there in the event and enjoy it and have fun. You know, like last night, I took my mum out to dinner with some of my family, and yeah, we just had a really good time, sat and chat, ate some really good food. Turns out I booked a place that I thought it was a different place, honestly. I thought I was booking one restaurant, but it turns out, because I'd been to the restaurant I was trying to book, and I'd forgotten the name of it, so I went to Maps, and I just didn't go far enough. Like, I knew what road it was on, and I didn't go far enough down the road to find the place, and I didn't, you know, go on to Street View to make sure it was the right place. I was just like, oh yeah, that's the right place. People have talked about it and whatnot, but yeah, it turns out I've never actually been to that restaurant, and it was really, really good. It was really, really nice. But yeah, like I was saying there, we had some photos there, but I did not take them. I was in them, but I didn't take them. So I don't know. I much prefer to just enjoy the event, and if there's photos, I'll pose for them. I'll be happy, smile, whatever. But yeah, I'm not one to take the photos. So yeah, if you're ever at an event with me and you want a photo, please ask me. I'll 100% do it, but I will probably not remember to take the photos myself. There's been times where I've been talking to people about like, oh yeah, I'm going to try out this restaurant, I'm going to try out that one and whatever, and they're like, oh, take photos, send me a photo, I want to see the food. And I completely forget to take photos and send the food. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm not great with taking photos because I don't know, I'm just there in the moment. But I would like these photos, which is why I'm glad that the people I go with most of the time are the people who take photos. And you know, like I said, like I went to a wedding recently, and for about 80% of the wedding, I had no idea where my phone was. Not a clue. I spent like 10 minutes looking for it while the bride and groom were off taking photos because I was taking care of the dogs and I just needed to like get them to someone was picking them up to take them home because they weren't allowed to stay with us. So I needed to like, yeah, find it for that. But yeah, like and again, there's a photographer there, so am I really gonna like pay attention to that? I did take photos of the dogs though. Because it's just so heckin' cute. Like they were absolutely adorable. And they were in little clothings. Um, I don't know, it's just something really, really cute and sweet to just see cute little dogs like that. But it's also, again, like, being in the moment, it's I really do appreciate it, but I really also love people taking photos and being able to be like, oh, do you have photos so I can look back on that night? Like, it's really nice. I think it's, there's definitely people out there who are designed to be the photographers, and then there are definitely people who are designed to be at the event. At the Mother's Day last night, 90% of it, we were all there just for the event. I mean, obviously we were 100% there for the event, but it was all just events. But my mum wanted photos, so we went and took photos together, and I'm happy to do that. If she didn't want photos, I wouldn't have been upset, but at the end of the day, it's really about what you want from the event. And I'm not saying like, oh, if you want photos, that's all you want from the event, but you want memories. You want to go enjoy an experience, but also to have those photos for the memories as well. And I get that. I'm just also not one to remember to do that. That's my biggest problem, is I just don't remember. Which is, again, the whole point as to why I brought up the wedding is there was a photographer there, so I didn't have to think about taking any photos or anything like that. I took one photo that night, and that was, like, there's just spur of the moment, alright, why don't we take a photo? Yep, cool, took the photo, good. But yeah, it's I think I need to make friends with one of the there's people who have their little role in a group. We all have our little roles, and that's all good and fine and fantastic, and I love that. But I need to find someone who does the photography thing. You don't have to be a photographer, but the one who likes to be like, all right, we're taking a photo, because I feel like it would be good to have a few more photos of events and stuff like that. But yeah, you bet your bottom dollar with this build that there is a photographer who you can hire if you want. I mean, you might not want one for the funeral if it's a very sad and somber experience, but I know some people have funerals where it's, the person who has passed on has made it into like an experience to remember and enjoy and have fun. And I think I think that's good. I mean, obviously some people need time to mourn and things like that, but other people want to be able to, it's a sad event, and you don't want to focus on the sad. You want to remember the good and things like that. So I totally get if people want to do that sort of event, and maybe you do want a photographer at that sort of event. Where you're having a funeral where it's to celebrate and laugh and enjoy the memories and share them. I think, I was gonna say, if I ever have a funeral, I'm pretty sure we're all gonna have a funeral, but at that, I would definitely want people to sit around and tell stories and drink and connect and just yes, it's a sad experience, but I want it to feel, at the end of the day, I'm okay. I'm okay with wherever I am at the end of the day. Obviously this is not going to happen for a very long time, or at least, fingers crossed for that. But I do want it to be a sort of event where people just, remember and relax and take a moment to, yes, grieve, but also to spread love. And, I don't even mind if people spend it catching up with each other and just, it's been a long time, I haven't seen you, I miss you, how have you been? I don't mind if it's me connecting you guys, if it's me bringing you all together so that you guys can, oh, hey, we haven't caught up in a long time, we should catch up again, we should connect again. And yes, it's a sad event, but I if I'm helping people reconnect, that makes me happy. I want it to be a nice and relaxed. I mean, again, I doubt it's going to be relaxed because it's going to be quite sad, but an event where, I don't know, just there's a celebration that I have lived and I did things and you were all a part of it. That's what I want, is just, let's share what we had and be grateful for it, sort of thing. And I understand it's a very, very hard, difficult process. I've been to a handful of funerals, unfortunately, and some of them I would not be able to do that. Absolutely not. Could not do it, because it was just very heartbreaking. But I don't want people to focus on that for me, you know? I want people to, I don't know, just work through their grief together. You know, it's always good to be with other people, never to be alone. And you know, that's pretty much it. So yeah. But I also think it's kind of interesting to see the two different rooms here in this build, because yes, one of them is a funeral place, but the other one is a wedding, and you would probably not hold the funeral and the wedding at the same time, because that might not be too great. I know if I was at a funeral and I could hear the merriments of a wedding, I would just be so heartbroken at that. But maybe this is like a morning funeral and an afternoon wedding, or something like that. Or maybe people who are, like, maybe the person who has passed away is related or knows the people from the wedding, and they all talked about it and they agreed to it, and then, you know, it's all good, and they're going from one to the other, or I don't know. But I kind of set it up as both, so that if you want to have the what's this called, the build be a wedding ceremony, you can. If you want it to be a cemetery, you can. It's really up to you guys. I did realize at the very end I didn't put any bathrooms in. I don't know if you need bathrooms from for a cemetery. I also know for a wedding venue there's probably a million things I could have put in to make it a lot easier, like a bar, a kitchen, maybe even a bed space or whatever. But you know, it's a I'm not a game player, so I do miss out on a lot of things, and I don't really think about these things until it's too late. So I do apologize for that. It's 100% my fault for being a builder, but one day when I get into gameplay, I'll definitely be thinking about these things a lot more. And the only reason why I know these things are necessary is because I watch other builders. I don't watch many legacy challenges, but when I do, I get obsessed with them. And that's basically the only two ways I know that these things matter. Because, yeah, mostly from the build videos, to be honest. I've seen people build wedding ceremonies, and the thing that they talk about is like, you need this, you need that, you need this. And I mostly build in generic or residential. I rarely actually build in the category that it should be. Because I build lots that are kind of just all over the place, you know? I build things that aren't necessarily useful or functional for gameplay, but also because sometimes I just don't want to have to deal with the, like, oh, you're building a bar, so you need these items. And it's like, well, I don't really want those items in my bar. I want these items in my bar. And so, yeah, I just generally don't. But, you know, there's nothing stopping you from going in to change it and adjusting and moving these builds around. You know, if you really like the layout of the build, if you really like the exterior of the build, but you hate the inside, you know, you're like, why did you do a funeral over there? You could have done a kitchen and a bathroom over there, and that would have made so much more sense. You know, then it could be a functional wedding, and you could put like a little bar section out the front or whatever. Like, if you want to go in and change it, please just let me know down below what I can do in the future to make this build a bit more easy for people who want to use it, you know? Because again, I know I'm not a game player, but I still want to keep you guys in mind for those who do gameplay and do want to actually play with these builds. It's kind of a tough thing, because when I first started building, I was just building because I was like, well, you know, this is fun. Like, I want to build, I want to experience it. I just want to do it. I like doing it. But then I realized, ooh, like, these builds aren't usable by other people, so maybe I should, like, try and do that. And then I started to build, I guess, for what I thought you guys wanted, and I started really hating my builds. So I got to a point where I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to build for myself. So I started doing that, but when I started doing that, it was already instinctually like, okay, let's not clutter the counters, let's make sure that, like, it's 80% usable. You know, like, okay, I don't know if this chair over here will work, but that one will work, so you've got a chair that works. And yeah, I don't know, there's just, like, small things that I have started to implement on a day-to-day basis with my building, but I'm still mostly building for myself. So I'm kind of, balancing it out, and it feels much better. And I think I'm at a place where I'm like, you know what, yeah, if you've got any tips or tricks, I'll try and include them, but I'm still building for me and what I want, and I don't feel like I'm giving anything up. I don't feel like I'm, trying to build for others and, just getting really frustrated at, at myself. It's all on me. It's nothing to do with you guys. I want to be absolutely crystal clear with that. That's all my fault, and I've had to, figure that out. But it's been good to work it out. It's been good to figure out, okay, I know what I want to do for me. I know what I want to do today, like what I want to build, what I want to, put out there. But I do want to start, I want to continue. I want to learn more. I want to figure out more, okay, what do you actually need? What do you actually want? Like, how do I be a better builder for gameplay people, for legacy challenges and gameplays and stuff like that? Because I don't want to have you guys look at the builds and be like, this could work, but you've clearly not considered gameplay. Like, I want to keep you guys in mind. Sometimes I will forget, sometimes it'll be a build that's got nothing to do with gameplay, but, when it is a build that is usable, I do want to keep you guys in mind. So, yeah, if you've got any tips or tricks or ideas or things that you're like, every build does this and it drives me insane, like, please let me know. I would love to improve my building to make sure that you guys have an easier time with the builds, because I know not everyone's a builder. I know that some people who do gameplay only want to do gameplay. I know some people who do CAS only want to do CAS. I know there are people out there who do a bit of everything. I know there are people out there who do 2 out of the 3 and don't want to do the 3rd thing, and I get that. For me, I don't think CAS is ever going to be something that I take super seriously. Not saying that if you do it, I'm not taking you seriously, but it's like, if I go in there, I'm gonna have like, okay, I want to make a very simple cottage loving sim who just wants a simple life, I'm just gonna go in and pick all the simple things, easy done, bam. Like, I'm not gonna go in and be like, okay, but they're like this and these are their traits. I mean, I'm obviously gonna pick their traits, but like, I don't have the patience for that. So to those of you who do CAS and can sit there for like, 4 to 6 hours on one sim, I don't know how you do it. I randomize my sims. I don't even know their names. I think one of them's named Hugh, and he likes dancing, and that's as far as I've gotten with that guy. He's been what I've been using for the unlock. You do the gameplay to unlock the the events, the reward events, those things. All I know about him is his name is Hugh. I cheated his skills all the way to the top, and he likes dancing. I don't think he's old, but he looks old. I think he's just an adult. But yeah, long story short, if you do CAS, good on you. If you do gameplay, good on you. I'm just not. I don't have the attention span for it. But anyway, we're pretty much at the end here, so I just want to say I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.